Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning has been on the Milwaukee Repertory Theater. This season, the Rep has already brought us Man of La Mancha, starring Milwaukee's own Nathaniel Stampley, Lady Day at the Emerson Bar and Grill, co-starring another Milwaukee native, Abdul Hamid Royale, and the Royale, which stars David St. Louis, who plays the role of Jay the Sport Jackson. It's wrapping up on November 6th, so you'll definitely want to take advantage of your last opportunity to see this outstanding production. My next guest plays the role of Wynton in the Royale, Mr. Cedric Turner. How are you?
How are you doing?
Always a pleasure to see you.
Homegirl.
Yes, and we're going to explain to everybody why you said that in just a little bit. The Royale is a powerful and unique play told in 6 rounds that actually draws from the true story of Jack Johnson, who's the first African-American heavyweight world champion. Just want to mention that it's written by Marcos Ramirez, who is one of the writers of Orange is the New Black. And then it's directed by Kevin Ramsey. So tell us more about this production and your character, Wynton.
Well, you know, it's not even about boxing. I think you mentioned that earlier. It's really a play about the issues of race in this country. But the wonderful thing about this play that I love, it doesn't bang you over the head with the issue. The issues are subtle. The arc of the play is somewhat subtle. It seems or has the appearance of, and of course it does, it's staged that way, as a boxing match. But the battle is a little bit larger than that, we all know.
A little bit deeper.
And what I love about the play is, well, as you know, I'm Muhammad Ali's first cousin. And so I grew up with the same parallels of the struggle within my family, and with the issues that he's dealing with in terms of with his sister, trying to pull back a little bit, afraid of what the repercussions coming from him winning the fight or winning the big battle, because the struggle is actually a man who's just trying to prove that he's just as good as everyone else, or as the champion of the world, as Ali tried. And the funny thing about it is, when that, you know, when those issues came about for us when I was growing up, like for instance, Ali changing his name, the struggle is the same as within this play about the sister wanting him to hold back. We wanted Ali to hold back. Why would you, get rid of the Clay name?
And his parents were not fans of that at first, especially his daddy, who's the senior, right?
Right. My mother wasn't. My mother was very upset over it. I didn't really understand it, but because it didn't matter to me. He was still Gigi to me. Gigi, that was the name. He sort of said that as a child, and from that moment on, everyone called him Gigi. His parents called him Gigi. Of course, it was Cash that we called him. And then we eventually had to adjust to Ali, which was hard, but we did.
Yeah, and it's really ironic that you have that storyline and that you've witnessed something of that magnitude in your own personal life, and then you end up in a production like this, which is dealing with those same type of things. And now the viewing audience would know why you called me homegirl, because obviously you're first cousins with Muhammad Ali, then you're from Louisville, Kentucky. So, and when I found that out, it just kind of like doing, before I saw the Royale, I like to go through and kind of have an understanding of what I'm going to see first, and I'm like, wait a minute, this guy is what? He's from Louisville. So immediately when I had the chance to meet you on opening night, we connected.
I lit up like a firecracker, because it's always nice. So when because I live in New York, and even in New York, when I meet someone from Louisville, I'm like, I love home.
Yeah.
I can't live home, but I love home. I can only live home. I'll be there for 2 or 3 days before I'm ready to scream. But
because you're in the Big Apple, and you can't compare.
And the pace is completely different, and that's why. But,
that's wonderful. So my question, I guess, when we're dealing with the character Jay, he wants to believe that he's going to be judged, like you said, on his performance inside the ring,
on his merits.
Also based on the content of his character.
Yes.
But instead, when he won in July 1910, it actually triggered race riots across the country. So looking back on that time period, I guess none of us would really be surprised, but a whole lot is starting to kind of really look like it's moving backwards when we talk about race relations in America.
Yeah, it's strange. Sometimes you take 2 steps, 2 steps up and 5 steps back, it seems, or has the appearance of.
Yeah.
And it's that eternal struggle. No one wants to give up. Or no one wants, to give up the change. Or no one wants to, move forward when it comes to something that they're so used to, in a sense. And that's been our struggle. This play really parallels what's going on right now, and particularly in Milwaukee.
Yeah. In
terms of race relations, because I know there's and I'll speak on it. There's a pretty wide divide, and I don't want to say racism as so much as just there's
I mean, it's been known as the most segregated city in America, unfortunately.
Yeah, because I've met some wonderful people in Milwaukee, and they're trying, they're aware. Yeah. It's not that they're not aware of what's going on. So
it's going to take some work, and that's what we collectively have tried to see a difference when it comes to people understanding
Which
each
is
other.
why art is so important, because usually art is what brings people together.
Yes,
and
one thing
I
wanted to ask you, because you spent so much time in the company of the late, great Muhammad Ali. He truly is the greatest. Do you think at any time, or do you remember at any time him being inspired or looking at Jack Johnson as someone that he wanted to be like, or
I'm not quite sure if he was even aware of Jack Johnson or who Jack Johnson was. I know that he was inspired by Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah, he was a big Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson, I think, was lightweight or middleweight that moved just as fast and just as quickly. But and Ali was always telling us how inspired he was by his speed. Everything else Ali got from the family. His daddy, Uncle Cash, was a character who you would walk into the room and start singing, "I'll be loving you always." And Ali kind of grew up with that flavor too. And of course, we run our mouths.
And it carried over.
And it carried
all
over.
Of you.
All of it. So all the shenanigans that you saw in the ring, it was really not so much something that he was trying to do in order to gather fame or prestige.
Just being himself.
He was being simply himself.
Yeah, because my aunt went to high school with Ali, and she talked about how after he won the Golden Glove, if you did his homework, then he would let you wear the necklace. So she had some very interesting stories as well. And I think we both had a chance to go back to Louisville, you in a whole different capacity, obviously being family, but to just see all that love really given to Ali from every corner of the globe.
And that's the importance of this play, the Royale, because for me as a child, at 10 years old, I first set eyes on on Ali. I mean, I'm not even sure if I had seen him before then because he was so busy. But I was asleep and I was awoken by a loud, and
literally that.
Literally that. And I looked, at the doorway from my bed. I was on top of the bunk, and my brothers were on the bottom. And there was this man standing in the doorway, blocking out the light from the hallway. And I thought he was the boogeyman. I started crying, until I heard my mother laughing. And from that moment on, it was like I got out of the bed, I followed him to the living room. There were a lot of newsmen in our little tiny living room, and I was shocked and amazed by the bigness of it and what was going on. I wasn't quite sure. I couldn't quite articulate it until later. And that inspired me to go from under the bed, because I used to hide, I was so shy. Scared of people, scared of my own shadow, scared of myself.
Wow, and now you're on stage performing for thousands of people.
And that was
wonderful.
and Ali was the inspiration, and he came around just when we needed him. not only when I needed him, but I think when the country needed him.
Yeah.
And I think he knew that.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
I think he used it wisely.
Beautiful legacy he left behind.
Yeah.
And before we run out of time,
Yeah.
I wanted to mention for people who watched the Dave Chappelle show back when it was on Comedy Central.
You gonna make me grab my guitar?
Yeah, you were the man, you and this guitar here, you were featured in the opening of the show.
Of the
and
Dave
I
Chappelle
actually
show.
have a little piece of that opening. Let's take a quick look.
Okay.
Chappelle Show, Chappelle Show, Chappelle Show, Chappelle Show, Chappelle Show. Oh! Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Yeah, yeah. Let's start the show.
I love that. Let's start the show.
Let's start the show. Can I quickly tell you the story
Yeah.
behind that? They didn't know what he gave me some sides that were like anti-Bush, anti-war, and it wasn't working. A blues song, it wasn't working. They went into the corner. And I just took advantage of the opportunity and started vamping, you know, Chappelle Show from an old blues song, and the rest was history.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
and became the
awesome.
most popular thing. But that's not what I'm going to sing for you today.
Okay,
I'll
so
just do
yeah,
some
before we
blues.
run out of time, you
I'll just
gotta
some
do
blues for you.
something for us.
I'll just do some blues.
And
I'll do some Muddy Waters for you.
Does this baby have a name?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My first one was named Baby Gal. Her name is Gal Baby.
Gal Baby. Okay,
Gal
well,
Baby.
go ahead and rub
Gal
your hands
Baby,
on
you
Gal
drive me
Baby.
crazy. Got me pushing up daisies. 6 feet under your spell, baby gal. Some Muddy Waters.
Okay.
Gypsy woman to my mama. On the day I was born, got a boy child coming. Gonna be a summer gun. Gonna make pretty women jump and shout. And the world gonna know what he's all about, yeah, around here. Everybody know I'm here. I'm the hoochie coochie man. Everybody knows I'm here. You won't have to edit this, will you? One more verse. I got a black cat bone. I got a mojo tooth. I got John the Conqueror gonna mess with you. Take pretty women's, lead them by the hand, and the world gonna know I'm the hoochie coochie man, yeah, around here.
That's the perfect way to wrap up today's show.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
stopping by. I love it.
Coochie man.
The hoochie coochie
Everybody
man. Mr. Cedric Turner. Wow. Love it. And he is from Louisville, Kentucky. Remember that. Mr. Cedric
Louisville.
Turner plays the role of Wynton in the Royale, which is playing at the Milwaukee Rep through November 6th. For more details, go to MilwaukeeRep.com or call 414-224-9490. That is going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues, Milwaukee. Have a great day.
Weighing in at 207 pounds, standing tall at 6 feet, 2 inches, toes like Jack Nickel, fists like John Henry. The dark, defiant contender, the big black bringer of retribution, the Negro heavyweight champion of the world, Jay the Sport Jackson!
What we're about to do up there is important.
It's dangerous!
Man said they can't even sneak a toothpick into this fight.
Have you stopped to think for 1 second? You're gonna get somebody killed.
Of course I have.
No, I don't think that's true, Dave.
This is one for the ages, boys. David and Goliath got nothing on us. Your name's gonna get written in history. Not black history, not white history either, Dre. Something better. Sports history.
You've been ready to take over the world since the day you've been born. Just don't think the rest of us are. Because you know as well as I do what's gonna happen when you knock that bastard out.
I'm still trying to tell you I'm gonna make it right. I'm gonna change things.
All right, boys, good luck.
Indeed.